Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. In today's video, I want to go over one of the most important areas to farm in this game. I'm talking about the Dark Fae boss stage for Doom Tower. So this is the only time you can actually farm Dark Fae. She only comes once every 3 months. She's one of the most important bosses to farm, especially for Doom Tower, because the gear that she drops is called Lethal Gear. It's basically an upgraded Savage set. Savage gives you 25% ignore damage. The Lethal Gear gives you 25% ignore damage as well as crit rate. But because it's craftable, you get to control the rarity and obviously some of the substats. So you get to control some of the crafts, you get more of it relative to how much energy you need to spend in Fire Knight. So in this video, I'm going to go over some budget teams and some more endgame teams that I do use myself and see how they really compare against each other. For this boss, it's actually pretty friendly in terms of like accessible champions. The stats are going to be pretty high, so I'll break down everything for you guys. Let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so here I got a pretty budget team here. I use this from the beginning pretty often, and this is kind of like the stereotypical team that I show people when they need to deal with Dark Fae. So I'll give you guys some key stat breakpoints here. Dark Fae is 250 speed, and then her resistance I believe is about 350, 330, 350. So you're looking at about 330, 300 to 50 accuracy to land your debuffs. For speed, you want to be probably going first before she goes, so at least 250 speed. So here I got Deacon with the speed aura that helps out a little bit, of course. So let's jump into this team setup here. So if you guys cannot hit those type of stats, then obviously this is going to be a little bit above what you can do. But I'll show you guys this team. And then I'll show you guys the gear for this team. It's actually very reasonable, I think. So you can see here Deacon actually doesn't really fully have enough accuracy. You're looking at about 340, 350 accuracy to land like 95% against Dark Fae. So with 308, he's not going to be hitting as high as 95%, but he should still be over 90%. So you want his accuracy about there. Speed's good. You want him to go first because he'll be setting up your encounter with the turn meter boost and then the AoE decreased defense. Allure is super MVP for this fight. She makes it a million times easier than it should be. Without Allure, you can use legendary options like Visix. Visix works pretty good. Armor Gear is like a weaker version, but can still work if you have really good stats. You can use Ruella. Ruella is actually really good too. She has a triple hit, turn meter steal. Not as good as Allure, but can still work if you have a team that works around them. So I'm going to show you guys the presets here real quick. Just if you guys want to check them out, you can stop the video. So of course, Allure, you want her to use the A1 on the boss, basically exclusively. So Cold Heart here, she's very excellent. You want her with accuracy to drop the turn meter if you're using Cold Heart. You could run multiple Cold Hearts if you want. She's just really good for this boss fight. The only knock against her is that she's not as good for wave clearing, but she can do okay. So you can see here my Cold Heart's actually kind of slow, 211, but she works out pretty fine. But I think I wouldn't go any lower than this against the boss. Again, I'll show you guys the presets here. Heartseeker, priority, you skip the AoE. You skip the AoE if you can kill the mirrors. So that's you kind of have to tweak around with your own AI settings depending on what you need at what stage. So Rogard, he's super MVP for this fight as well. His hamstring move reduces turn meter as well as decreased speed, which is awesome. And then of course his takedown can chunk off 10% of Dark Fae's HP. So you want him with accuracy. He's a little short here, but he can still do fine. He has decreased defense on his A1 as well, which is really good. Speeds up the boss fight. Again, I'll go through the AI here. I open with the hamstring, decreased speed, and turn meter against the boss. And then here's my second Rogard, similar type of build. This one's a little bit faster, but so I'm gonna save the takedown for the open against the Fae. So the AUI is going to be dependent on, you know, whatever your team comp is. Just play around with it. It's not going to cost you energy or anything. But this is the team that I'm going to go with. I'll show you guys a quick run here. It's very accessible champions, you know, all rare and epics here. I know Allure is going to be the trouble spot for a lot of you guys. If you don't have Allure, like I said, you can use Visix. Visix works pretty well. Armiger also works, but he's not going to be as good. Ruella also works. And then you can actually substitute Allure for Nut. Nut is like a really good substitute for Allure, of course. It's like the best substitute. Yeah, getting a little tight on this roll guard. Usually it doesn't get this bad, and usually it's a lot faster than 35 seconds. So let's see what happens here against the boss. Alright, everyone's down. Got a decrease, and then there it goes. Her turn meter is down, and now she should never take a turn. I hope. You never know. But our team should be able to survive one hit. The first hit from her if necessary. Yeah, but the problem with this team is that the stats are not perfect. They're not up to par, right? If the team was faster, then this team would be, you know, no issues. You wouldn't be worried at all. But because we're running a little tight, it kind of shows you guys what like realistically the minimums are for a team to work on Fae. So you see here we actually took a hit, which is, it's fine. It does work fine still. And of course, if you guys are running like a safer build, you can take out one of the roll guards for another Cold Heart, for example, which reduces turn meter. So this one's a minute 42. It's actually quite long. I've had this team go a minute 10, for example, a minute 15. It can go really fast. But yeah, we did have one turn from the Dark Fae. But I don't want to spend too much time on this. It is a budget team. If you guys have these champions, you guys can easily substitute some of these champions for each other. For example, you can have 2 Allures or 2 Cold Hearts, or remove Roll Guard completely. Put in another decreased speed champion. You can use Ninja. You can even use like Wukong here if you need it. But Wukong doesn't bring like decreased speed or turn meter control, so the rest of your team needs to be a little bit stronger. But generally, like these type of champions are going to be really good. You can use an ally attack. Ally attack pushes Allure to use the A1 more, which is really good, keeping the turn meter down, of course. But yeah, let's jump into the some more endgame teams. So I'll show you guys those. Alright guys, so this is the team that I use basically all the time. It just works. I think it's like 95% win rate. It's pretty high, but there is probably a chance to lose. Razovar, he's going to be our AoE damage dealer. He also brings the increased speed, increased accuracy, which helps all our champions catch up in stats. Double Nut for big damage. They're extra. It's basically like having 3 Allures, but also having like 3 Roll Guards. Obviously, Nut is better than Roll Guard, but yeah, let's jump into the presets here. So, like I said, the presets are going to be dependent on whatever it works best for your own team. But if you're using the exact same team as me, Razovar opens with the AoE, then another AoE, and then he'll open with the AoE against the boss and the mirrors. Roll Guard goes takedown on A2, probably to help clear the wave, and then opens with the TM drop on the boss. Allure will open with the AoE on the wave 2, probably to help kill the wave, and then just the A1 against the boss. I alternate the 2 nuts using the AoE to help kill the waves. So this one uses the AoE and then prioritize it, but he won't get it back, and then he'll have it ready for the boss. Second nut saves the AoE, spends it on the wave 2, and then if he has it back, then he'll spend it against the boss. So yeah, some of the stats will be kind of endgame. This roll guard is a little bit slow. It's the same roll guard that I was using in the budget team. This Allure, same Allure that I was using. Razovar is my Fire Knight Hard 10 Razovar. So he's built for damage with Savage Gear, and he's pretty quick. Increased accuracy will help the roll guard and the Allure pick up additional accuracy. So we'll go through a quick run here, and you guys can kind of compare like the budget version versus like this more endgame version. Even the budget version, you're still looking at a minute and a half. It's a very consistent, solid farm. So be pretty happy with that, I think. A little bit of a time waste there with the relentless proc from the nut. 20 seconds, very slow actually. Usually it's about 14 seconds after the first wave. Allure not landing the decreased defense, so 30 seconds to the boss. Not the fastest, about an average run here. And Razzlebar actually doesn't have the AoE ready, which might end this run. Let's see. Alright, now we can control the Dark Fae. Should be over, but it's not the best run here. Decreased defense and then the alert. Alright, and then now we got increased speed, so it makes it a little bit easier for us. There we go. So basically we want to bring to this fight increased speed, decreased speed, any kind of increased turn meter for yourself. A speed aura would be great. And I think that's about it. And then you need some kind of damage, like max HP damage, for example. So this one's a minute 24. You can see my best time is a minute 5. I totally expect this to be under a minute after I farm Dark Fae a bit more. This is the first day that I reached 120. So I'll be farming Dark Fae for the rest of the month. And yeah, it should be under a minute. But obviously a little bit unlucky with some of the like RNG with the decreased defense on wave 2, for example. But still a very good run. I mean, yeah. But you can compare this against the budget one and it's pretty close. I'll show you a different version of this one just kind of for fun. Alright, so I'm on my alt account. So this is a different version. Basically, I trade one nut for a Hegemon. Hegemon makes it very consistent against the mirror waves where you just one-shot them. But we'll jump into this. I'm not going to dive too much into it, but I'll just show you guys like the slight difference here. But it's a nice way to use Hegemon a little bit here. The waves actually, this wave went down really quick, but I think wave 2 is probably a little bit slower with this team. Maybe it's the presets. I can maybe improve the presets a little bit. Yeah, 25 seconds. Yeah, I definitely can improve the presets a little bit on this wave. 36 seconds to the boss. So the last team was 30 seconds. Hegemon with the AoE cleans them up right away. And then we're off to the races here. Alright. Yeah, so super consistent run. Even can take a hit. I'll show you guys the stats afterwards. A little bit slow here. The wave 2 was very slow actually. Hegemon doesn't really bring too much against the boss. He does have decreased speed, but he doesn't have really high accuracy. Still trying to punch through. Yeah, so I like Rabbit in this team. He brings the increased speed, increased accuracy, and he can deal damage, which is really good. So it lets your team have like more flexibility in terms of what you need to bring for damage and turn meter control. So I do like Razzlevar here. Like sometimes like Lysandra would be here, for example. You could use Lysandra, but Lysandra doesn't bring any speed, right? I mean, she doesn't bring any damage. So yeah, he is helpful for a little bit of damage, wave clearing. But you can see like our best time was a minute 20. I'd probably get it down to like a minute once I play around with the waves a little bit. I'll show you guys the camps here real quick. So Hegemon just damage, no speed. Damage with some speed here. Nut, just damage. Allure. He has too much accuracy, and my roll guard actually didn't have a glove on. My roll guard didn't have a glove on. Okay, so there you go. I could definitely speed this up if I put a glove on my roll guard. Alright, and we're back on my main account, and I'll show you guys the builds on the champions that I was using. So Nut in full damage, Razovar, he's in full damage. So masteries, you're looking at Giant Slayer for full damage, and then Giant Slayer for full damage. This one, Nut in Relentless, he's in damage, like damage Relentless with same masteries, Giant Slayer. Allures and immunity for Seer, I guess, Seer teams back in the day. Yeah. Giant Slayer for more damage. This roll guard is properly equipped. War Master for additional damage against bosses. This is the budget team. So the budget team was using Deacon. So you can see Deacon's just in like random gear, not even fully geared up. War Master. And then I think this is the second roll guard I was using in the budget team. Just broken gear. Same thing, War Master for additional damage. And this is the Cold Heart, broken gear. Not overly fast. She is crit capped. She doesn't need to be crit capped, of course, for a Cold Heart. And then Giant Slayer for additional damage. So that's gonna be it for the video, guys. I hope I was able to give you guys some ideas and show you guys some makeups for teams that maybe you guys didn't initially think of or use in the beginning. But if you're looking at like a late game or end game speed farm for this boss, 60 to 90 seconds is pretty reasonable, and you don't even need insane champions to do it. Like I said, like the full budget team is rare and epic only, and it's obviously not even that much worse, or if it is even worse at all. It's pretty close. But yeah, anyways guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.